I am the one the Lord has shown great mercy. On the 8th of March 2026, my due date was actually on the 7th of March, but at midnight, which was early morning of 8, I noticed my baby had not moved the way my baby usually moved. So I decided to call the hospital. That was about 3 a.m. I called them and they advised me to come in. In the morning, about 8 or 9 a.m., I went down to the hospital. I joined NSPPD Sunday service online, which I usually do. So when I got to the hospital, I was watching the service on my phone. Papa was already on the altar preaching, and he sang this song which I was very familiar with. Amamoti gesimere miao, iye mani gemea. Amamoti gesimere miao, iye mani gemea.
Amamoti gesimere miao. You know what that song means? I don't know how you're going to do it, but all I know is that you will do it.
And that moment, the nurse called me in, Vivian. I stood up and went in to the room for a checkup. I passed my phone to my husband because I was still on the Sunday service. The nurse was interacting with me. He said, "You've noticed movements from your child. When was the last time?" I said, "Probably 1 a.m. I noticed movement." And while she was checking, there was no heartbeat or coming up on the machine. At that moment, I noticed the nurse's face had changed. Within a few seconds, she rang the alarm. I think it's code red, code blue, what they call it. Siren started ringing around the whole ward, and I had like 6 or 7 medical team run into the room. Then they all started speaking in medical terms. I was confused. I was like, what was going on? Then immediately they started rolling me to theater. Immediately, I was so confused at that point. The doctor was beside me, flipping my medical notes, asking me questions. Have you been through a major operation before? And couldn't even respond at that point. The only thing that was coming out of my mouth was a roy. You know when Papa says in time of confusion, what will you say? You say a roy. Immediately we got to the theater. They just rolled me in fact, slammed the door. They started the procedure immediately. He put the marks on me and I passed out. A few hours later, I woke up. Saw my husband. I asked him, I said, "Where is my baby? How is my baby?" He kept telling me, "Don't worry, baby is fine." Baby was not fine. He was in the NICU. I didn't know. The next day, the nurse from the NICU came with a wheelchair and told me, "Okay, it's time for you to see your baby." They rolled me to where my baby was, and I saw my baby in the incubator with wires, pipe, all in his mouth. Then the medical team came in discussing with my husband, telling us that they are considering transferring him to a specialist hospital in London. That they are in communications with the team. The ambulance team came. The specialist hospital said they only made space for my baby. Went home with my mother. I mounted the fire altar at that point because my baby was on oxygen, 100% oxygen. My baby was at the NICU for 3 weeks, exactly 3 weeks. I spoke to the medical doctor that was looking after my child. That was after my child had been transferred from the London hospital to another hospital. That's making it 3 hospitals my baby had been in the space of 2 weeks plus. I said, "What's the plan? What's it looking like?" And she said, "As you can see, we're not in a hurry to discharge your baby. But on Monday, the consultants will be here and will review your baby's case and will decide if, in some cases, some babies are discharged to go home with oxygen." I'm like, God, this is not the agreement. The next morning, by 5 a.m., I'm awake. I've already sat down waiting for NSPPD to start. And I kept praying. I'm like, God, Papa should see me. Papa, call my case, mention my case today. That day, Papa was praying it was a service for career and businesses. I was like, hey, God, today's career and businesses. Please remember me, career and businesses. They should please just mention my baby's case. At exactly an hour, 7 minutes, Papa said, "The Lord is sending help to any child in the NICU. Any child struggling for their life, the Lord is stretching his hand to help them."
The Lord is sending help to any child in the NICU, any child in the NICU, any child struggling for their life. The Lord is stretching his hand of help to them. Let it be broken.
Immediately we fell to our knees. I held on to that word. I said, God, this is my word. The nursing team, they had already done their handover. The doctor I spoke to said the only thing they were looking at is if my baby can be off oxygen for 24 hours. If he can, then there's no need him still being in the hospital. He will be discharged. So the nurse took out the oxygen mask and she was monitoring him. 12 o'clock, my baby was stable. He didn't need the oxygen. At some point I was even going, I was looking at him, trying to be sure that this baby is breathing. 3 p.m., 6 p.m, throughout the day, my baby did not require any oxygen. Then the next morning, the medical team that came, they came and told me, your baby's report has changed. He's not dependent on oxygen anymore, so we're happy to discharge him. Called the whole medical team to come do the final checks and hearing tests, body mapping and all of that. And that was how we were discharged. I've just come back to give thanks to the God who sees me. I call my baby Dobe Ero to give thanks to the God that sees me. Papa, may the oil on your head never run dry. Dobe Ero, what God cannot do does not exist. We dey pray, He dey show.
Celebrate the Lord.